Over the course of my career, I've had the pleasure of working with hundreds of families as they move through wealth transitions over time, and they tend to have a few tools in common. Using one's wealth for both purpose and with efficiency, which raises the question, why do some of these wealthy retirees give so much money away in the first place? I always like to give the benefit of the doubt, and I would say that the driving force in many of these instances comes from a place of generosity, caring, and the want to make change. But with that, we can't count out the fact that in many situations, it's also a deliberate planning strategy as well. Herein lies the key of what I've seen in having the opportunity to handle some of the challenges that could come along with building significant wealth. And instead of worrying solely about income in retirement, we tend to shift the focus to things like tax planning, estate planning reviews, and passing money to the next generation. And this is where giving in some instances can take on a whole new role. Not only do you have the ability to potentially make an impact for causes that are important to you, but you also could create a tax efficiency strategy over time. For example, every dollar shifted in some way or another is the potential dollar that doesn't get added to the federal estate tax limit when you do pass those assets to the next generation. That tax, in some cases, could end up being as high as 40%. So if you take the opportunity to move over, say, $500,000, that could end up being a savings of about $200,000 over time. Of course, it's important to keep in mind that these dollars would have to be above and beyond the federal and state exemption thresholds. When framed this way, giving can seem more of like a moral cause. Every dollar transitioned above and beyond those particular limits could end up being a dollar saved from erosion by taxes. Consider a hypothetical retiree that decides to make the choice to give money away in a substantial portion year over year. Not only are they supporting causes that might be important to them, which can include things like a hospital or a school system, or even a local foundation, but they're also shifting dollars away from their taxable estate, which could potentially get hit with taxes later on in life. Over time, this could end up allowing them to pass substantial money to their heirs, in addition to supporting causes that are important to them. These scenarios tend to be less about just casually writing checks and giving things away, and more so about a structured financial plan.